All right, we are gonna do a dry land double pole progression. So use of the upper body for cross-country skiing. And Renee is gonna do some demonstrations here. So first of all, we're gonna start with athletic position. Okay, super important. So looking at ankles, knees, and hips. So flexed ankles, and there we go. That's the most important part right there. And getting, ability to have some soft ankles here, whether you are doing cross-country skiing, whether you're doing alpine skiing, whether you're playing tennis, right? Doesn't matter. These are all basically the same positions. Okay, so yeah. And one of the instructional ways sometimes is we'll say, hey, pretend someone's about to poke you right behind the kneecap, and then your ankles flex. There we go. So that's like, you know, really getting into a very low athletic position. Often in skiing, slightly higher is, you know, something you're going to use most of the time, especially at pole plant. All right, so next we're talking about athletic position, and now we're going to combine that with good posture. Good posture is super important for cross-country skiing, and a lot of people don't do it. Especially people who have been skiing for a long time, often the position is very hunched. And so, yeah, Renee kind of show kind of bad posture. Even with bent ankles, you can have pretty bad posture. So now we're gonna go to pole plant. So at the time when your hands come up, and good posture. So a nice spine that is leaning forward a tiny bit, but is straight and is parallel to the lower legs. All right, and so yeah, she's gonna come on up, and yeah, so the back is straight, chest comes forward a little bit, eyes come up, right? If you're looking downward, it's very hard to have good posture. All right, so that's kind of those ingredients. So we got athletic position, we bring the hands up to pole plant, and now we have good posture. Chest up, eyes up. Okay, all right. So check my checklist here. What do we got? So we got good posture, good posture. Next one is square of power. And so that's kind of to illustrate where the hands should be. And it's gonna vary a little bit depending on the terrain and the speed. But the square of power is basically just having your hands, you know, creating a square with your shoulders. So those distances. So you want to turn towards the camera there. So you can see the width of the hands is the same as the width of the shoulders. That's really kind of basically a universal kind of position. Doesn't matter if you're classic or skating. All right, so those are some of the things we're looking at. Square of power, and as opposed to the rectangle of weakness, that would be this, all right? So you get a lot of power out of your double pole if your hands are fairly close to your shoulders. All right, so next thing we're gonna just add, and this is especially helpful, for skating, and we'll look at lock and load. Okay, so lock and load drill. Actually, this is classic and skate. So bringing up, so the things that are important here are hands, shoulders, and eyes. Starting the poling motion up high, and then crunching down the first third of poling. So it's up here, crunch, there we go. And eyes, hands, and shoulders together. So that is basically lock and load. All right. Often for youngsters, for youth skiers, we'll often use the lock and load. You can also call the robot drill. Some of the NYSL or Bill Koch leagues have called it because as you try to lock and load, it looks very awkward and stiff, but very good learning technique.